Professor Samuel Ekundayo, President Vice Chancellor, Adeleke University. I used to be in Babcock University. I was the first HOD for mass communication, and then the Dean of the Faculty of Education, sometimes the Deputy Vice Chancellor, and the Provost before my appointment here in 2016. But before then, I was in the Daily Times, spent 35 years in the Daily Times as a reporter. As a reporter, an editor of the Times International magazine. Eventually, I rose to be the Deputy General Manager of the Daily Times, and again, the General Manager of Publications in the Daily Times. And when Peter Pan was leaving, I was appointed the Chairman, Chief Executive of the Daily Times of Nigeria PLC. And I handed over to Joe Nakaba. Born by a pastor, my mother being a school teacher, instilled in me the discipline. Went through my primary education in the North, had the privilege of living in police barrack as a barrack boy, and eventually ending up where I am today.
Solomon Adebola, that's my name. Solomon the first name, Adebola the surname. Came into being about 65 years now, down from heaven. And I've had a chance, through the grace of God, to go through school, primary school, secondary. The last part of my educational career has been in teaching all along. But before that, I worked at a financial development level, where I was managing director for 2 different mortgage banks in Lagos between 1993 and early 90s. Before I went back to academics and became a professor of management sciences in Babcock University in Elishan there. For many years, I was there as Dean of Faculty of Business Sciences, and it was there I was picked as Deputy Vice Chancellor to Adeleke University about 2 years ago to contribute the bit I can to development of these children in academics, and again, not academics alone, in morals and faith. These 3 to me go together, and I cannot divorce one from the other. If you are a first-class student and you are an armed robber, to me you are nothing. You have earned nothing whatsoever. For a first-class student, you are an immoral person. Something is wrong with you. For a first-class student, you are a thief. Something is wrong with you, obviously. And that's why when graduating our students, we ensure that we go back and check their files. No matter what class you have, what has been your character like? I don't want a first-class student with very high grade who later will find was cheating in the exam in the past, or at the point was accused and convicted of stealing. Of course not. Once you find that out, stop your degree. You go and cleanse you first. And that applies to not only students, but the staff also. Each time we want to cross-check the staff and make sure that they are up to the values we have. And that has been our principle all along.
My name is Emeka Chukwuemeka Basil Anene. From Agolo, near Oka in Anambra State. I went through my high school at Agolo Boys Grammar School. And after my high school, that's what we call secondary school, I got a job with Barclays Bank, Kano. That was in Kano. I went to Kano and I got a job with the Barclays Bank. Of course, there were many applicants. We had to sit for exam, and I passed the exam. I was one of those that passed the exam then. So I was employed with Barclays Bank, Adubayaro, Kano. And I worked there for about 4 years. I was in line for a signatory B then. But I decided to leave to United States for further studies. So I went to United States, not sponsored by anybody. It was just, as I said, hard work. I had to work very hard to train myself to go through the university and to acquire all these awards that you see behind me. So all those from my sweat, no financial help from anybody. But I thank God I was able to do it. I've been on this table for 6 years now, going to 7. And I thank God that I'm alive today, keeping me healthy to be on this seat. It's a very tough seat, you know, especially when you are dealing with money. And you know, if you want to be friends with anybody, don't mess with that person where the money is concerned.
Mr. Oyerinde Caleb Oyejola, I became the registrar of this institution about 11 months ago. I have worked at the Polytechnic Ibadan for almost 27 years as through the ranks to become a deputy registrar at the Polytechnic Ibadan. I am an elder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm a graduate of Ife and UI. I did my bachelor's in Ife and my master's at the University of Ibadan. Married with children.
Professor James E. Atolagbe. By the way, the E there stands for airborne. And I always tell people I'm the gift of God. And sometimes I say I'm the only gift around here. But you know, I did my undergraduate studies here in Nigeria. I went to Christ School, Adeleke, and then to Adventist Grammar School here. And I went to Loyola College for HSC. And from there, I went straight to the United States. And I studied chemistry, pre-med for my undergraduate. And after that, I went to Loma Linda University. And that's where I got my healthcare training. And I'm in preventive care. And I proudly believe that Adeleke, God helping me and strong enough, make a difference in retraining and raising students that will make a difference in the public health arena and in preventive care, making sure that, you know, the cardiovascular diseases and the diabetes and the likes that are in this country, we're going to be able to continue to reduce the rate at which it's going up, because we know what it takes. Not just medication, it's about lifestyle.
Adeleke University is a faith-based private university in Nigeria, established by a Nigerian who decided to give back to the society. Dr. Deji Adeleke is an industrialist and a philanthropist whose father used to be Senator Adeleke, the first senator here in Osun. Decided to build this university as a legacy and a source of assisting humanity. He is one type of person that is blessed but refused to keep his money in the coffin or send his money to Dubai or send it to the Swiss bank. He decided to bless humanity with the money. That's why he came in here to Ede, his hometown, to set up a university that we got a charter for in 2011. And since then, Adeleke University has been growing in size, in weight, in bound, in popularity. And to the glory of God, Adeleke University is even bigger than the founder because it's international.
Well, we thank God, like you said, the school is about 7-8 years old now, founded precisely 2011. It's the grace of God, and of course, God working through one single individual, a man called Dr. Adeleke, a businessman who thought that the best he could do is to impart on humanity from what God has given him. So he thought of starting the school. Before then, was giving scholarship to other students in other schools. But he now thought, why give others, why not start your own directly? And that's the beginning of this university. Our past students who have finished here, the reports will get about them, where they are working. And we are still aspiring to higher heights, to which we give God the glory also. We're about many programs now at the undergraduate level, and virtually all of them thus far are fully accredited by the National University Commissions in Abuja. We started this year in February our postgraduate courses in many programs at the MSc, at the MA, and the PhD level. And we're still aspiring higher to greater heights by the grace of God.
This institution was actually born out of the necessity, because the pro-chancellor, we call him, is the pro-chancellor, but we call him the chairman of the council. He actually has been sponsoring students all over the world for different programs, for different, on different degrees. And after a while, by the time you are sponsoring over 200 people within a year, you just thought maybe, you know what, after spending that kind of money out there, because some of them are even abroad, it's time to probably set up something here that I could train some more people with that kind of money too. And so what we have here is a situation where, out of necessity, this Adeleke University was set up by a non-profit organization that he happened to be chairing also. So it's a non-profit institution that is really taking care of about 1/3 of the students here. They are on scholarship, one scholarship or the other. And so it's been a humanitarian effort on his part. And to God's glory, I think we're making strides, and those who graduate from here are going to make a whole lot of difference out there, because they are going places. We believe that they have been trained well enough to make a difference in the general public.
Adeleke University is set up not as a profit-oriented university. It's a service university. I say service university because this is a university established to cater for the need of the underprivileged. Those who have no dream of seeing the wall of the university, to have the privilege of getting a very good and sound Christian education. Before establishing the university, he set up Springtime Development Foundation, of which has been helping people all over. No barrier for race, color, culture. He has helped more than 500,000 people, educating them in various places, locally and internationally, assisted people in taking care of their health, sponsoring people to India and several other places. So he thought it wise that he should establish a university where people within the environment, Nigerians and people from all other culture, will come in here to benefit. As I'm talking to you, 1/3 of the students in this school are sponsored freely by Springtime Development Foundation, and quite a lot of others are assisted. And with that motive, purpose, the university, when you look around, you will really see the edifice. It's like a university, one university brought from Europe or America, planted in Eden. And when you see the natural beauty of the university, that's why we call this university the Garden of Eden in Ede, located in Ede. One of the aims and objective is to make sure you touch life. Those who are under the bridge doing nothing with their life, either because of family problem or because of divided home, all those ones are captured, make responsible people. We work with some NGOs who take care of the abandoned children, and some of them are here enjoying the privilege of a good Christian education for free, you know. So this is what we're doing. But we are moving further. I just came back from California, where I discussed with the Caribbeans, the Africans, and some even Americans who are really finding it difficult to sponsor their children. Because school fees in America now, tuition alone is $20,000. And in this school, the highest course you pay for, like law and engineering, only $2,000 will cover it. And you can pay 4 times. This is the only school in Nigeria where you can pay 4 times. At the rate, just a minimum rate of $500,000, this full school fees, including feeding and accommodation. So, and we still allow parents to pay 4 times to encourage them. And those who could not pay, who went through the screening of the Springtime Development Foundation, are sponsored free. So, with the purpose that Nigeria need to be clean. We need to breed a new generation of Nigerians who will be honest, who will not be corrupt, who will be good citizens. Because what you see on the street now, you see quite a lot of them, they are armed robbers. It's because you are not giving them anything to do. Kidnappers, people who are easily lured into political violence just because they don't have any means of livelihood. So the essence of establishing a school like this is to make sure we have better Nigerians.
Our mission and vision for educational development in Nigeria is that we want to excel in quality teaching, quality research, and innovation in the pursuit of training our students. And in pursuing this, we feel that it is extremely very necessary for us to pursue it in terms of truth, in terms of preservation, in terms of advancement, and in terms of transmission of knowledge, not only to the students, but also to the community in which the school is located, and that is the community. And in doing this, we have in our law faculty a mute court, and we have also introduced what we call law clinic, where we invite people from outside, and we also go there to advise them on cases. So it is a matter of a good interaction between us and the community in which we are located. So our core vision is quality teaching, quality research, and innovative training of our students.
The core value of Adeleke is honesty. You know, a honest person is a honest person. And honesty is the best policy. Then sincerity. When you are very sincere, you are sincere to a purpose. You say exactly what you're going to do. You believe in everything you believe you can do. And the other one is faith in God. You must have a very solid faith in the Almighty God, believing that He is a creator and there is nothing you can do without Him helping you. And again, our relationship with the community and relationship with people we come across with, we take a lot of cognizance in that. So whenever you see children from Adeleke University graduating, you will see sincerity of purpose in them. You see that they are honest and decent citizens who will never be involved in anything antisocial in the society. You see them hard-working set of people. People have written us from different places where most of these children are engaged, that they have seen the best crop of Nigeria being brewed here. So these are just the few things we lay emphasis on. But the topmost of it is the fear of God. Because when you fear God, you will not put yourself in a situation where you destroy other human beings, believing that everyone is created by God, and it's the purpose of God that everyone should have a role to perform in the development of the world and in the development of humanity.
Well, the core values are actually stated here. You can feel what they are. Responsibility and accountability, and then openness and integrity, service, joyful service, and of course humility. These are the main core ones that we have. And this actually defines our mission. Looking at the individual, like I said at the beginning, holistic education. So don't just learning to have a BSc or a BA, an MA, an MSc or a PhD, but at the end of it all, how have you impacted on society? And taking into account that it's a faith-based school. Like you said at the beginning, you saw my Bible here. And it's based purely on the principles of the Word of God. That in training students is made to align with what God said. Because we find out at the end of the day, like the Bible says in Ecclesiastes, all these material things, financial things, is vanity. It's all vanity. But at the end of it, by and by, you will look back and say, I've lived my life. What have I impacted on humanity? I've lived my life on this part of heavens. At the end of the life, either in Islam or Muslim, we believe we're going somewhere else. And what was the chance of getting to that place we intend to go to? And I think those core values define our mission in the university. And I believe we have achieved a lot of those values through our students and, of course, through our staff who are working in this place.
The uniqueness of this university is better seen than told, If you see anybody who comes to this campus, the scenery alone will make you fall in love with the school. Dr. Adeleke put some money here, and you can see it, It has very lovely buildings. The atmosphere is good, very conducive for studies. And, it is something that everybody who goes through this university will be very proud of. You see, if you go outside, you see how it looks. So it's a great university, and people are beginning to, Nigerians are beginning to know the university. And within a short time, the university has grown tremendously. People are beginning to know the university. The subjects we offer, how well we are doing so far, we only have God to thank for. And this is a faith-based university that, if you really want your child to go to a university that is faith-based, very, very cheap compared with other private universities. Really, you love your child to be here, to go through his or her studies in Adeleke University. The school is doing well, and we are getting accreditations here and there. And the same way, we are making sure that every child that goes through this university does not only acquire education, but acquires character. You know, you go out, you become an ambassador of this university, and the way you behave will tell it all. And that's what the kind of behavior we try to inculcate in our students here. We treat students with that Christian feeling, you know, and it's not a school where we don't have tolerance for misbehavior, especially in drug area. If I'm involved in drug, I will tell you this is not a place for you. We make sure that we teach you, like I said, not only just for what you need to learn as an educated person, but what you need to have as a human being, that is the character. It's very, very important, and we try to tell this to the children.
First of all, let me start off by saying what is really apparent. Once you enter Adeleke University, unless you are not doing well academically, you will know the day you are going to graduate out of here. There's no strike, nothing whatsoever. I mean, if you're in a 4-year program, you know that the second weekend of the July, 4th July, that you get here on a 4-year program, you are going to graduate. If it's a 5-year program like in engineering or in law, you know that the third weekend in July of the time you enter here, you will graduate. And it is because of the dedication and the commitment of the workers here and the realization that, you know what, students have their lives to live, and they have mapped out their own lives too. So we do everything within our power to make sure that they stay intact within the system and get the requirements to graduate, and they graduate on time. That's the first thing I was going to say. Now, with regard to the uniqueness of this institution, compared to other institutions rather, the commitment of the faculty here is tremendous. We are all not only dedicated to the cause here, we are dedicated to making Nigeria great. And it's the product from here that's going to go out there and make a difference. We just believe that by the time they are well trained here and to the standard of, they can match anybody in any part of the world. And they are able to mentally and spiritually and physically contribute to the development of this great nation, then it means that we are contributing to the development of this country, and this country will invariably, it may not be apparent right now, we just see it in future, that we're going to be somewhere, and among all nations, that we're going to be able to have students or individuals that are going to make impact in the world as a whole.
The challenge facing Adeleke University is the same challenge facing all private universities in Nigeria. For instance, test fund is a free money collected from our tax money and distributed to only federal government and state government universities. But this money is generated from all of us because we all pay tax. It is ironic and unbelievable that the federal institution will be enjoying the privilege of this money. The state institution will be enjoying the privilege of this money, but the private universities are left out. And we are all working towards training Nigerians. In the area of research, for instance, a successful research carried out in this school will really showcase the image of Nigeria, not only the school. Why then should some section be benefiting from a general cake and private university, private initiators who struggle to set up something that government should set up should not be benefiting? Anyway, the case is being addressed, and the committee of vice chancellors are really addressing it. But I can tell you straight, it's been a constraint. Not to people like us, people that cannot even get to the level that we've got into, people who cannot provide the needed infrastructure that we are providing. For instance, the current people are here for accreditation, and you wouldn't believe it that we've spent close to 2 billion in setting up the engineering section. It's just something from one person's purse. And the thing will be used to train Nigerians. And within the context of it, a third will get it free. The government should rethink. This is where the government should focus. This is where the government should take a look and make sure things are worked appropriately and things are done better for the benefit of the society. It may not be pupil of today, but what about the future generation? Those Nigerians who don't have opportunity to go to public school. You want to do a research in a private university, just because you are private, the government will not support you with a fund. And fund will be wasted in some other places. Buildings that are not needed are just being constructed. Equipment that are not needed rot away in most of these universities. There's a need for rethink, and the government must be rethinking.
Some of the challenges, even though the university is, like I said before, is one of the lowest private universities where you can get a good education, we try to make it easier on the parents who are paying the school fees. This university is the only university I know of that you can pay your tuition fees in 4 installments.
This is the only school in Nigeria where you can pay 4 times.
And, 4 installments, because we want to make it easier for the parents to pay their school fees. But the only challenge, the only thing we face here sometimes, despite the fact we try to, be nice, treat our students and their parents, their sponsors or their parents, by offering them this kind of, easy way of paying their taxes. I mean, sorry, not their taxes, but their tuition. The challenge we do get sometimes is that collection of fees. Still, sometimes we don't collect them as at when due. And it makes it hard on us to execute some programs. But despite that, we are very lenient with the parents. We can listen to their problems. And like I said, this is a Christian environment. And we try to show that in everything we do, both in collecting of tuition fees and giving, even though we have 4 installmental payment, some parents still find it hard. And we work with them.
Well, Dr. Adeleke is the founder of Spring Development Time Foundation. And this foundation had been on for some time. And the foundation was established mainly to assist students in terms of scholarship, in terms of developing institutions. And so he felt that if I am doing that, given scholarships to students here and there, he thought of why not have an institution. So he established this institution. Dr. Adeleke is a very fine gentleman that you start wondering, why is he not thinking of taking the money to Switzerland or the US? Why is he thinking of developing an institution like this? If you go around this school, especially in the night, you will think that you are in an American institution, because the trees you are looking at everywhere will be lightened up in the night. So he's a philanthropist of note, and it's somebody that thinks that he should contribute something to the development of mankind. Because here, not only here, he has some other companies, but this is the least that will give him a kobo. And yet he pays people's salary on the 28th. Since the inception of this institution, he has not, for once, paid after 28th. So that is a philanthropist of note, you know.
I got to meet with Dr. Adeleke sometime way back in the 80s in the United States of America. So we became friends from there. That's how I got to know him. But before we got down to Nigeria, we were very close friends back in US. And we just liked each other. I like his personality, the way, you know, how cultured he appeared to be, and his mannerism and the way he was doing things were, you know, he appeared as the kind of person that you know, you would like to be friendly with. And so we just saw each other and we became friends. And since then, we've been very, very good friends. As a matter of fact, it was because of him that I came back to Nigeria earlier than I should have. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't like to come back, but you know, it made it much faster for me to be here. So I've met him, and he employed me here as the bursar of the university. You know, earlier before we came, he told me that he would like me to come back home and work in his company, and probably as a bursar in the school he was preparing to establish. And I haven't been an accountant away from the United States. He felt that I would fit into the position, and he offered me a job. It was basically because of that I came back earlier than maybe I shouldn't have come back the time I did.
The man behind the scene. You can say the man behind the scene because he doesn't want to be outside. You don't see, you know, if you are going to introduce him as this and that anywhere, he's probably going to shy away. He will not show up there. He will not show up there. He's the simplest person you can ever think of. I mean, people like me, you know, I talk. He is just quietly taking care of business. He will look for the best hands to take care of business for him. And he will do the best to give them all the support, everything that they will need to be the best they could be. And that is what is ticking in this place. That's why this place is moving. And I believe that it's just the grace of God. He is unassumingly good, quiet, but very deep.
Well, I want to make this clear, and education stakeholders have said it repeatedly, that Adeleke University today is the fastest growing university in Nigeria, fastest growing private university in Nigeria. Within a space of 6.5 years, Adeleke University has been able to put together 6 successful faculties with 27 programs, all accredited. Within a space of the period, Adeleke University has a postgraduate school where we have gotten to the level of a PhD, offering a PhD in certain disciplines, including mass communication. Within the space of this little year, we have connectivity all over the world. All last year, I was in Morgan State University in Berry Spring, in Baltimore. The president of Morgan State came for our last convocation. He was here with his dean, all right, to deliver an address. We have partnership. So also we have partnership in University of Western Kentucky. We've just signed another one in California just some few weeks ago with Loma Linda University, one of the best medical schools in the world, for our pre-med. And then all this is going to amount to student exchange, staff exchange. We need to open ourselves to the world. When you are local, you must think international, because your farm here, until you get to other farm, you really know that your farm is not relevant. So we have gone globally. And this global thing is really helping. Our staff have been exchanged. Some staff will be coming next academic year from different parts of the world. And our staff too will go to different parts of the world, which is a very good learning system and a good exposure. So our student, a student can start his education, maybe mass communication here, and can decide to go to the United States of America to complete. All right? It's acceptable. The transcript will be accepted, and he will complete there, get a certificate from there, and get another one from here. You know, this is the interaction. And what we're doing for every course of study and in every department, we make sure, apart from the academic accreditation, we also seek for professional accreditation. That is why Coren is here, to make sure our engineering students are properly captured from school. Because with Coren registration, after their degree as engineers, they are equally registered as member of Coren. So also in accounting, in our school now, when you graduate with your BSc in accounting, you are also chartered, because we've worked out with ICANN and they've accredited us. We did more than 25 accreditation within the last 1 year, and we passed all. So in our nursing program, because we have a nursing program, the nurses, on completing their education, will also do an NCLEX exam. The exam that will enable them to work anywhere in the world. So when you're training people, you don't just train them to redundancy. You train them to profitability, in the sense that you have properly harmed them academically, and you also harm them professionally, so that at the time they're graduating, jobs are waiting for them. And I can assure you that there is no single student who left this school who is jobless among the ones that we have graduated. Because apart from the proprietor himself, that has created quite a lot of jobs, has different industry, including electricity generating plant, they have jobs. Then by the end of the year, graduating year, we invite the banks and some other industries for them to come and really recruit and some will recruit from the NYSC. They will be permanent on those jobs. So this is what we're doing, and it must be proactive. You know, Nigeria has gone beyond the stage where you just train people, give them one certificate that is so useless to them that they cannot use. You make sure that certificate is useful and the professional backing is attached to it, so that these are the type of people the market needs.
Talking of development means there must be a way of measuring your development. There must be indices. If I say I'm growing and developing in height, you want to check my height in terms of feet or meter or whatever. If I say I'm developing in terms of finance, I want to check my bank account. Luckily, in education in Nigeria, there are indices of use that measure development. And like I said at the beginning, accreditation of our programs by government agencies, that's one. Then again, by human agencies. Government agencies include, for example, the National Universities Commission. Talking of that, the NUC, like I said at the beginning, we are lucky and we thank God, all our programs now are fully accredited. You notice we went to meet some people just now, a few minutes ago. They are from COREN, that's Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria. They came to evaluate and accredit our engineering programs. And the report we have thus far is that, we thank God, though not fully spelled out, that we did very well. Legal Counsel was here about a few weeks ago or so for our law programs. So there are all these agencies from the government and then professional bodies. And thus far, I think we are doing very well from what report we have got.
Any educational institution must be accredited. I can tell you categorically that almost all our courses are accredited. In fact, why I said almost and not all is because presently we have some visitors, the COREN, coming to accredit our engineering courses. But for engineering, we have almost all our courses accredited. That is almost about 25 courses already accredited. Our engineering is in the process of being accredited. So if a school is there and within 7 years you have almost all your courses accredited, that's a credit to the proprietor, who is also the pro-chancellor and chairman of council, to have gained within 7 years. So we are contributed a lot in terms of sending out graduates that can go for NYSC, graduates that can really impact what we taught them on the society. So in terms of our contribution as an educational institution to the educational sector, we have achieved a lot. Apart from that, we also have our courses accredited by professional bodies. Our accountancy, for example, once our student is there, the only thing he has to do after graduation is just the last stage of ICANN. He becomes a chartered accountant. We have that also in our science courses and so on. So as we are growing in terms of accreditation NUC-wise, we are also growing professionally because we are also inviting professional bodies to come and accredit all our courses also. And that was why I mentioned the fact that COREN is here. COREN is the Council of Registered Engineers of Nigeria. They have come to accredit our programs because we intend to send out students who are competent, who are literate enough to be able to say, this building must not fall as an engineer. So we are contributing a lot into our educational system in the country.
First of all, there is a system here that calls for staff members here to be trained, including us too, at the beginning of every academic year, we have what we call the colloquium, in which we have specialists in different areas to come and help staff members here in different areas, be it self-development, be it academic strategies, and how to train our students and how to help them out, and various areas so that we see the needs for. We often check with the staff members here what the needs are, where they think that they are deficient, and we look for experts in those areas to come and help in the development of the staff here. Every year we do this. That's number one. Number two, we go for training in other parts of the world, just to really make sure that we are measuring up to the standard. For example, we have those who are in the student affairs, student care rather, of this university. They just came back from the United States. I think they went to the state of Washington. They went to a forum where they have a 2-week training on how to do student care management and how to help students develop in character and what may. And for others, for example, I just came back to myself with about 4 other members of staff from this university. We went to Southern California, to Loma Linda for a training in our various fields so that we will be able to contribute to the growth, academic growth of our students. We have to be on top of things. And so we are on top of our various researches in our fields so as to be able to at least help students, because we want our students to be at the level of everybody else in the world. And in order to do that, we have to sharpen the saw too, get ourselves to the level where we know what we are saying, what we are doing, and then raise their hope up, and then give them the kind of training that they will be proud of. That when they go out, they can be who they want to be. And again, like I've often told my students, I'm in preventive care, and those students in public health, I've often told them, you know what? You're not training just to be in your field, just to be able to practice here, to be able to do work here in Nigeria only. I want you to be able to go to WHO, World Health Organization, for example, or go to UNICEF, for example, and be able to match up with everybody else out there and be able to contribute to the development, not of the developing world, but we have something to contribute to the developed nations too, because they are academically sound and they know what they are doing.